Just navigating through a simple nature walk requires me to put all of my senses to work. My sight, smell, taste, touch, and hearing all help me do things like enjoy the scent and sight of beautiful flowers or the buzz of bees. They help me avoid stepping on snakes or running into low-hanging branches, not to mention savoring a good snack for energy along the way. But how does information those senses gather actually make it to my brain where I can use it? Let's find out together in this episode all about sensory processing. Our nervous system helps us sense and respond to our environment. The peripheral nervous system connects your brain with the physical environment around you and allows it to respond. This network is found throughout just about every part of your body, providing the central nervous system with information that ranges from how bright it is, the current temperature, and the tiny pebble that made its way inside your shoe. Let's look at the discovery of this pebble as a quick example of what I mean, using a 4-step process to help us understand. First, there was a change in my environment, some stimulus that activated some of my sensory receptors. I was walking along happily, annoyance-free, until my next step felt wrong. That feeling or stimulus traveled from my peripheral nervous system to my central nervous system. First to the spinal cord that caused the immediate reflexive action of pulling up my foot. Then my brain eventually interpreted that discovery as the perception of discomfort and decided to shake my lifted foot around, confirming the culprit and then removing it from my shoe. Our bodies are made up of several complex organ systems that work together to perform all kinds of different functions. Our nervous system is an organ system that allows us to go through this process, to sense and respond to our environment. The heroes of this process are really the specialized cells and cell parts called sensory receptors. These sensory receptors are able to pick up signals or stimuli or stimulus if you're only talking about just one from the environment. These signals or stimuli can come in many different forms. For instance, our eyes gather information about the things we see, or electromagnetic stimuli, and transmit that information to a nerve that sends that signal onward to our brain. As light or electromagnetic radiation enters the eye through the pupil, the lens in the cornea bends and focuses the light into the retina at the back of the eye. Different and specialized receptors, called photoreceptors, are going to pick up those electromagnetic signals. The retina transmits the information to the optic nerve, and the optic nerve carries it to the brain, which interprets the information as images. Some sensory receptors, called mechanoreceptors or thermoreceptors, detect mechanical stimuli, such as temperature, pressure, touch, and vibration. Then there are specialized nerve receptors called nociceptors that, unlike other receptors, only signal to indicate pain. Mechanical stimuli are physical in nature and involved with our senses of touch and hearing. Your ear is built to perceive sound waves. The outer ear includes both the part of your ear you can see and the ear canal. It is built like a funnel to capture sound. Sound waves, like the sound of this bird singing, go down your ear canal to the middle ear and reach the eardrum. The eardrum vibrates, shaking 3 tiny bones called ossicles. That vibration then travels to the cochlea in the inner ear, which has fluid and tiny hair-like structures that move and transmit an impulse, which is taken by nerves to the brain. Your skin has sensory cells on it that can perceive temperature, texture, pressure, and pain, like that pebble in your shoe. Again, these cells give this information to nerve cells, which send an electrical signal to your central nervous system. Chemical stimuli are made up of molecules and are involved with our senses of smell and taste. Chemoreceptors help us pick up on these chemicals. Your nose is lined with sensory cells called olfactory cells that perceive smells. The inside of your nose is moistened by mucus, which is both very gross and very important. Smell molecules carried in the air dissolve into the mucus, exciting the olfactory cells. So, when you smell something, you are actually inhaling tiny molecules of whatever that is. Do with that information what you will. Your tongue also has tiny little sensors on it called taste buds. Taste buds perceive flavors and transmit the information to your brain. Taste and smell are very connected, which makes sense because your mouth and nasal cavity are connected to each other. That means when you eat, some smell molecules from your food move up into your nose, helping you perceive taste. That's why when you have a cold and your nose is stuffed, it's much harder to taste things, or everything tastes like mucus. If you're still here liking this video, let us know and hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. So what happens next after all of these different sensory receptors detect stimuli? Once a sensory receptor receives the information, it passes this information along to a nerve cell. This is what one type of nerve cell looks like. Nerve cells are specialized to transmit information in the form of electrical signals that are then transmitted along nerves to the central nervous system. So far, we have tracked the body's response to the stimulus. That has been handled by the sensing or sensory part of the peripheral nervous system. This is the part that is only involved in collecting data and then sending it along to the central nervous system, sensing and transmitting. Depending on the type of signal that's being transmitted, your nervous system can respond in different ways. Simply put, signals can trigger reflexes or travel to the brain, allowing you to decide how to respond. Reflexes can be natural or learned, but they don't need a bunch of conscious processing in the brain. Lifting your foot when you discover a pebble in your shoe is a natural reflex action, a quick motor response to a surprising stimulus. Reflexes like this, or more serious reflexes like when you get hurt, are so important to your well-being that you actually can't think about them before you respond. So much so that all of this processing actually happens in the spinal cord, so that the control of muscles can be engaged before the discomfort or pain is even perceived by the brain. When you have acquired or learned reflexes, these come from experience, like how you learn to swat and smash a mosquito on your arm, or put your hands out when you fall. Those are also largely automatic processes, but you learn those reflexes by falling on your face, or getting a million mosquito bites when you're just out here on a nature trail trying to mind your own business. Back to the pebble. When your spinal cord sent impulses down the motor neurons, telling your foot to lift, it also sent signals up your spinal cord to the brain. So really, even though your body has been reacting all along, it's not until those signals of discomfort hit the brain that you think, ow, that's the most annoying thing ever, and decide, I should take whatever this is out of my shoe. So some responses are immediate, like the reflexes we've just talked about, but others are going to be learned, calculated behavior. You may reflexively swat at the mosquito, but the further response is your brain deciding that you should put on long sleeves or bug spray. The same is true with our good old pebble. Taking a minute to empty your shoe and check for any damage to your foot, and maybe launching the pebble far away so it can never annoy you again, are all totally acceptable responses. So the next time you step on something or enjoy a good nature hike, give thanks to your specialized nerve receptors. And if you want to learn more science, you can check out this video next. Did you hear that goose?